Def Head Dice. This is the Let's Do Things in a Different Order episode of TrollbloodScrum. One of our glamorous hosts is a little delayed, so we're going to do things in a reverse order or a slightly different order. So if you want to hear how it's supposed to sound, listen to the podcast when it comes out in about a week, but after Danny works his magic and does all the editing. If you don't like having stuff out of order, stop listening now. But if you're okay with that, keep going. So we'll get to the opening soon, but we're going to kick in now. So I will throw it back to you, Goris.
This is exactly how they do it on TV, folks. Everything's out of order. They do it in the most convenient way possible for them, and then they cut it all together because they pay somebody to do that.
Of course.
This is what Dan does.
That's why he makes the big bucks.
I think we gave him a shirt. Like, it's the big bucks. All right, so we're going to go ahead and kick it on over to the hobby time here. Now, Fraser, I know that you've been making slow but steady work, so go ahead and tell us about what you've been working on this week.
This week, I was able to mark bases for my son's Khador army, so I was being completely selfless. There we go. That's the word I was looking for.
It's about the same, though, because you're doing it so that you can very accurately know where the front arcs on your son's Khador models are when you play them.
Exactly. Those Iron Fang pikemen and the Winter Guard, so I'll know where I'm hitting them on. So yeah, so I did that using a cool little marking tool one of the local guys made. So I was doing that while listening to I think I was listening to actually our last episode because I like listening to how Danny edits our stuff. So I did that on the weekend, and I looked at some other models I wanted to paint and never got around to it. So that was the extent of my hobby time.
That's not terrible. Now, don't forget, too, that our friends over at Broken Egg Games make a lovely, lovely tool to mark bases called the Arc Ninja. And that's a little free promo there for Jason.
Oh, yes.
He's listening. Hope he is listening. Anyway. Send me one. Anyway. So
subtle.
That offers you basically a amazing Ninja Star type tool that will allow you to easily mark your small, medium, and large base items, and can serve as a one-time use weapon if you are in the direst of positions at the tournament you're in. So just keep that in mind when you're looking for your base arcing tools.
You just got to make sure you leave the room before the judge shows up and sees the arcing tool in your opponent's forehead.
Indeed. Like, why do you have a weapon at this turn? No reason, sir. No reason. I don't intend to stab my opponent when I lose this game.
So do they let you into tournaments with Wrathrock?
Sadly, I have not been able to bring it to a tournament yet. But if I walked in with that, no one would care.
I think they'd cheer. You'd get a whole bunch of people being all excited.
Oh my God, what is that? I don't even care if this guy kills me. That's awesome.
Even if he could kill me with it, that'd be fine.
That'd be fantastic. Man, that's my grim salvation.
Yep, there you go.
All right, so we do have a few games to talk about. So 2 episodes ago now, we had Jason Flanzer on, and all of us sort of brainstormed a Borca 2 list. Now, these games have been televised, i.e. Twitch, correct?
They have.
Excelente. Why don't you tell us where you can find them?
They are on the Def Head Dice channel. So if you go to YouTube/Def Head Dice, you'll see them as Home Machine Game. I believe it's number 16, which is the one I did last week against Khador, and then number 17, which is the game I was going to talk about tonight, which was against Minions. I played Rask. So it was Alex, who's one of our local players, who's given up Minoth for a year and is going to be playing nothing but Minions, decided to crack them out. It was his first game of Minions, so it was, and he hadn't played any Hordes for like over a year. So he brought a beast-heavy list, and I have it here if War Room would open up. He brought a Sacrovault, which my God, that's a gorgeous model. I don't know if you've seen one of those in person, but that is a nice model, and it really ticks me off that we can't bring that in Trolls, because I would field that in a heartbeat if we could, just on how nice it looks.
I had the privilege of playing against 2-in-1 lists, so there's that.
Yeah, and he did bring 2 Ephron Scouts, which I know you're a big advocate for. So he
Great,
was,
yeah.
and he had Wrong Eye and Snapjaw, the was it Delia Holler, and the Snake.
Talia Hollier.
Yeah, Alten Ashley, Lanyssa Ryssyl, and a Swamp Horror and an Ironback Spitter. So this was the first time I played any. I've never played minions, but actually I've played pigs. I haven't played the gators before, so or the reptilian minions. So it was a great game. I basically turn 1 I ran everything up. He didn't have enough shooting. I thought I was really worried about. And just a quick summary of the list: it's 2 units of Fire Eaters, a full unit of Fennblades with the UA, Lanyssa Ryssyl, a Mauler, a Blitzer, an Earthborn, and a Pyre Troll. I think that's everything. Most everything, and Borka 2. So I ran everything up turn 1. Didn't think I needed to pop my feet because I didn't think he had enough stuff that could remove anything of note. I think Alten Ashley took some points off of the Blitzer. Turn 2, I feeded, which pretty much locked him in for a turn. He feeded his turn, which basically meant it. I sort of call, I guess his feed is sort of like melee stealth, where you can't do anything if you can't charge or anything unless you start within 5 inches of his list. So he basically time locked me for a bit. I walked up some Fennblades. I broke a rule. I used the no quarter mini feet on the Fennblades to move that extra 2 inches, and apparently you can only do that if you charge, not if you just walk in. So I cheated slightly, but they had a range on most of them. Took apart. Just did some. I took out Alten Ashley, which is one of the things I really wanted to do. Managed to blow up one of my own Fire Eaters, which was fun as well. I rolled horribly high on doing my own damage.
I can't even count the number of times I've rolled a freaking 11 on that fire roll.
It's like, really, do I have to do that? So I basically, I think because he was a little intimidated with the amount of stuff, I basically threw everything up in the middle of the table on turn 2. We were doing the one with the 2 objectives at 16 inches in, and then the 2 flags in the middle at 16 from the side. I forget the name of the scenario, but I really just jammed everything up. I said I channeled my inner Matt and just basically jammed everything up, or threw everything up in the front and made him pick his targets and have to do it. So he had some choices that he had to make. He had some pretty cruddy die rolls on a few cases, and he left the flags pretty much open for me. So I scored 2 points at the top of 3. He only contested 1 flag on his turn, so I scored again. And then on the top of 4, I only needed 1 point to get it. So I basically picked up his Swamp Horror, threw it at the objective, had a couple sprays, and was able to win on scenario. So
So did you time walk his time walk, or did you hold to see if you could get better value?
I did it first because I knew I was going to be within range of the Sacrovault, and he had a few souls on it already at that point. I knew that he had a good chance, and I also was almost trying to goad him into coming into it so he'd get some of his stuff stationary. So basically, I knew he couldn't shoot me because they all had stealth, and he'd have to move stuff up. He might be able to get a few things there, and I figured I could justify the losses there. But I was hoping he'd sort of think about, maybe I'll send something and try to do some damage, and then he'd wind up stationaring himself. So for me, it was almost the perfect situation where he was damned if he did and damned if he didn't. So and he actually
Borka has a real advantage. Did you go first in the match?
I did.
Oh yeah, Borka has a huge advantage if you go first. When you get to dictate tempo with Borka 2, the match is almost already won at that point, because you dictate the engagement effectively, because you're so fast, you're already there, and then basically you just throw everything at them and say, all right, what do you want to get stationary and what do you want to get charged next turn?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's literally the question that you're asking them.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what I did.
If you don't have a way to get to your important stuff and actually kill it, it's really hard to come back from that.
Yeah, and he unfortunately, because it was his first time playing the game, he didn't play nearly aggressive enough, where he actually stepped back on his turn so he wouldn't be in charge, which basically gave me the flags. He had to work really hard to get to even prevent me from scoring, and he even said he was a little bit tilted just for having so much stuff and not knowing what to do and having a couple of his plans sort of fail where he had some bad dice. But I have to admit, being on the receiving end of Star-Crossed with Snapjaw and Wrong Eye isn't nearly as fun as having Kalandra. It was a bit of...
no, that little control area just is not big enough, in my opinion.
But it was I'm having to roll extra dice, but it was... and I was very tempted. I really wanted to one-turn his Sacravolt just because I wanted to have the fun of doing that with a raged Mauler, but I figured, no, I better not. I better play to the game. So, but I was proud of myself because I rarely remember to do scenario, and this worked out really well. It was easy to remember that. So it was a fun game, and to be honest, I'm loving Borka too. Like I didn't realize this guy would be so much fun. I haven't felt I've used him as a model as much as I could. I've kept him in the back a little bit because I've been a little leery of getting him right in the thick of it. I think I need to be a little bit more aggressive with him. Obviously not too aggressive, but
that was sort of the point of what I was talking about, going like holding your feet a little bit. Using Borka with a couple of Fury and the stone on him is a really, really good tool to bait your opponent into losing. Mm-hmm. And Borka at that point feels super strong because you're just like, come at me, bro.
Yeah. Well, that's right.
And that doesn't even like touch on his offensive output. I mean, when you can put him up to PS 18 with no problems and Mat 10, Jesus, like he threats really huge, and a 12-inch total threat. Ugh. Yeah, Borka is so great.
Yeah, plus reposition if you need it, if you want to get him somewhere out of the way afterwards. So it's like he can. It's very.
And don't
nice.
forget he's a heavy cav, right? So he still has ride by attack, I think.
Oh right, no, yeah, I wouldn't even think about that part. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you can ride by. You can throw your bomb, cast a spell, and get out of dodge.
I need to work through that a bit. I don't see how that works on the table and actually plan that out a little bit because I can envision it, but I need to see it on the table first. So.
Yeah, the biggest thing you need to remember about ride by attack, though, is that you absolutely have to make an attack. Whether it be melee or ranged, you have to move in, make the attack, and then you can move. If you don't make the attack, you cannot move after.
Ah, okay. But he's got reposition. You can still do reposition afterwards.
So,
I guess if it's a failed charge.
Yeah. So think about it as like 10 total inches of movement, right? Mm-hmm. So you move up 5, do what you need to do, and then you basically get to back up 5.
Oh, well, awesome. That's so nasty. That's so nasty. I'm actually playing him tomorrow into Legion, so I'll see how that goes. That one's not a home machine game.
Oh, that's a super good matchup. Like, they don't have enough armor to punch through your beasts, even if they double up. Like, 2 angels will not kill an Earthborn under the stone. 3 angels might not kill an Earthborn under the stone.
Wow. Okay.
I'd have to do math there. But I mean, then you just got 2 stationary angels, and then any Mauler or other heavy beasts just walk up and paste them. And oh man, I used to play Borka 2 into Veil 2 a lot because that matchup was exactly the same. Like I could either buy a turn by stealthing everything, and then Veil can't cast spells on you because she relies on different line of sight than the beasts do. So, like when she uses Oraculus, she still has to be able to see you in order to cast a spell at you. So, or she also has to be able to see her beast in order to shoot the thing at it. So, if they're in your control area, she can't see it.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there's a lot of little cool range dynamics there that people don't think about, especially with Legion. They're like, oh, Isle of Sight. But then you're like, oh, guess what? You can't arc a spell because you can't see this with Veil. Like, so it's
and that was my first initial instinct. I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to drop it with the Isle of Sight, but I'm playing my buddy Phil, who's on the 4 New Gamers. He said all the beasts have it, but they don't have a lot of range beasts that he thinks would do a lot of, at least in his list. So, and he said the Lilith 3 list, my feet, or I guess I basically negate the Lilith 3 feet. So, which I have to look up. I do.
You do? Oh yep. God, then they don't care.
Yep.
Little 3 just doesn't get a feat.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll post photos to the Facebook page just on how that goes tomorrow night because I'm not streaming it because it's at the store that's loud and has crappy internet. So, but yeah, so I was very happy with the game, and if you want to watch it, it's up on YouTube, and also if you want to play the list, which I actually recommend, if you can play this list a couple times, it's a lot of fun. It's more fun than I thought it would ever be.
Hey, I'm just impressed that you're actually having fun and doing well with apparently our bottom 5% caster.
Well, if he is bottom 5%, that means he's getting even better, and I'm all for that. So,
if you're on the forums and you wrote something about that, I'm really sorry, but he's not in the bottom 5%.
No.
You know, oh my god. The problem is, okay, like, there's no turds in our faction anymore.
No.
Actually, I regret saying that. Madrak 1's the only turd in our faction.
Are we talking about Warcasters or everything? 'Cause
Warlocks in our faction, period. Madrak 1 is probably the only turd in our faction. Like, I'm serious. Like, who's worse than Madrak? Literally no one.
He's not terrible either.
No. Madrak 1's like a B-.
Yeah, our casters are pretty rounded out.
Yep.
I play Jaaaarl a lot, so I laughed at that one too because I like Jaaaarl.
I don't know. Our bell curve is like this. Like we just don't have bad warlocks right now. Almost all of them are good.
No, I completely agree.
All of them are good enough to be taken in a competitive scene right now. So it's really tough to equate how good we got it until he nerfs the shit out of us in January.
I think everyone's worried. Well, not everyone. Some people are like, people came up with only Madrak 2, and everyone's worried everything else is going to get buffed up. I'm like, yeah, I don't think so.
I honestly don't think Madrak 2 is going to get nerfed.
He's not. I mean, he's very dangerous on his feet turn.
Yep.
Well, like I was explaining with Fraser,
but proper positioning negates that pretty easily.
Yep.
Exactly, and that's what I was saying to Fraser earlier, is that his poor showing at the WTC made it very apparent that good players know good counterplay, but he's a pub stomp warlock. So people who are unfamiliar or don't have good positioning will lose. Like, it's really hard not to lose.
It used to happen with Madrak 1 back in Mark 1 and Mark 2.
Exactly.
But tournament players know how to put their guys 1.01 inches apart.
Yep. Well, and pre-measuring helps with that too. So
Yeah. Exactly. So it's rough right now. But I honestly think that once the meta shakes out, Madrak will still be good because he's one of our force multiplier warlocks. So you'll still have the great damage output, and it'll focus around models that are good with that and be focused less around models that will give him the killer feat turn. So, yeah, you'll catch some people by surfing, but it won't be as prevalent. Does that mean that you won't just surf your ass to like a top 16 in a big tournament? No, it doesn't. Like, you could just catch all of your opponents off guard, and that could be a thing. But I don't think that he is so broken right now that he's going to have such a dramatic effect on the meta as even Runes of War did with top players. Like, I don't think he's as strong as Runes of War used to be in the previous meta. So I don't see him getting changed. If he gets changed, it will be minor. Shit that might get changed. I think Fenblades are negative for the meta. They're a little too good right now.
They're like a little too good.
They're glorious, is what they are.
They're like, I used to think Fire Eaters were the most broken thing in the faction, and then when I've said it since the beginning, when they announced the way the Fenblades are now, I was just like, why did they need that? Like, Fenblades didn't need cleave.
They took everything away from the Crow Warriors, gave them a little bit more armor, and they gave all the output to the Fenblades.
Yep.
Output, mobility, and attacks. Like, that's 20 attacks if you do it right. That's ridiculous from that point cost unit. And it's still tough, and it's still fast, and it's still hard. Like, what the fuck, man? So, anyway, we're getting a little bit off topic here, and we still need to record an intro now that Mr. Lady McLaderson
you saved the intro for me?
Yeah.
I'm so happy. Hey, we had to play basketball. Well, not we. My kid had to play basketball. First junior jazz game ever.
Nice.
Very good.
And I've got really good big guys on. They're 10. I got really good big guys on my team, but I need some ball handlers, so we had to do some dribbling work.
Very nice, very nice.
That's on topic, right?
No, I did basketball. I tried out for basketball all 4 years in high school. You know what I did instead? Varsity wrestling.
I like wrestling. They didn't care if I was a foot shorter than everyone else.
Exactly. I mean, I was a twig in wrestling. I wrestled 125.
Holy
back in the
cow,
day.
you were tiny.
I was small, man, but I was wiry, and I had a really good grip, so it was really hard.
Let's see. I was 5. My junior year, I was 5'4", and I wrestled 136.
Oh,
And
wow.
And pretty much everyone that I wrestled against was at least a foot taller than me. And those tall, skinny guys, you could fold their legs and arms up like nobody's business.
Funny is that I only got beat by short, stocky dudes like you, though. Like, that was the ones. I was 5 foot. I was still 5'10" like through most of my high school career, and then I got, I was lean, so I was really light and long. But the ones that always beat me were the short, stocky dudes.
I was so football, I would get all the way up to about 170, 180. And then when wrestling came right after football, I'd have to drop 30 pounds.
Yeah, that was basically what I did.
It was good for me. I was one of those kids running in paper bags or plastic bags that is against the rules now.
I just literally drank 2 sodas, ate 1 cookie, and then I drank water all day. That was my diet. I didn't even eat dinner.
Yeah, for a couple of weeks, it was nothing.
All right, so let's go ahead and do the intro.
Detour.
Exactly. We're going to do the intro. We're going to go to news, and then we'll go to Jarl. And that will probably round us out, and we still need to be quick with it.
Yeah, we got 20 minutes.
Yep. All right. You ready?
See.
Hello, and welcome once again to another episode of the Scrumcast over at handcannononline.com, where 1 and 1 makes 2, but 2 and 0 doesn't make 3. That's because Dallas was late this week. Gentlemen, welcome.
Hello.
The hello of shame.
So, those of you watching at home, we have been recording things a little out of order there, but I still need to do an intro because I am really bad at trying to record them after the fact for Dan. So, we're just going to do it now. All right, so let's go ahead and move into the news. Now, we've got some rather, not necessarily upsetting, but slightly startling information about some results of the WTC. Now, one Team America did okay. The other one did pretty good. And then let's talk a little bit more about those results. Fraser, I know you've got some of that information headed to us right now.
I do, and I'd like to call out the Team Canada, the guys from down here in Southern Ontario area where I am, came in 3rd overall. So
Canada!
So we got Bubba with his brutal 10 Mad Dog Kador list.
And apologizing profusely for everyone they beat.
No.
Sorry.
It was 5 of the 6 teams they beat, so it was good. So yeah, they did really well. We haven't had time to dive really deep into the statistics, but the biggest thing I think that was sort of surprised a number of us, at least initially, was the results with Madrak. Because Madrak, I think almost every troll player brought Madrak too, and it was he had like a 38% win rate. It was low, and we've talked about it a little bit earlier as we were recording this in reverse order. But it seemed to be geared the fact that a lot of the people were teching against some of the key Warcasters. So both Madrak and Wormwood from Circle, neither of them did as well as everyone anticipated because everyone had a counter to them. So it seemed they didn't get as good of a chance to be able to have the success that we're seeing elsewhere outside of the competitive market.
That's kind of interesting too because I'm about to participate in a team tournament down in Oregon called the I-5 Team Championship, and the way that we've worked our list building and list matchup is basically to avoid faction mirror and to play the strongest drop into Madrak 2. So that does not surprise me at all that they're going to see a lot of that. However, what they have done is trolls are really good at basically just obliterating a few factions right now. And so that's sort of our overriding design is I've got a lot of practice with A, Madrak 2, and B, the secondary list Crystal 2 that I'm bringing. So we have a pick design that's playing to my strengths and everybody else's strengths as best we can, which will leave me in matchups where Madrak will do best usually. So sorry for the little sidebar there, but go ahead with the rest. I got no audio.
He's on mute again.
There we go. It's my mute button that doesn't unmute when I want it to unmute. So
Oh, he did this in the Dallas one so many times.
you think I'd learn. But thankfully, through the magic of Danny's editing abilities, no one will ever know. Now it's going to be in the pre-ramble. There we go. But no, I was saying I don't really have a lot of extra of the WTC stuff because I didn't become nearly as prepared as I was planning on. So we can probably look into a little bit more of the detail next week. I'm kind of curious to see what other casters were brought and how they were doing. Because I know when we've talked about before, there was a team tournament in Germany in the June-July time that they brought a lot of Doomy 2s. I'm kind of curious to see how he did and how many times he was brought. So we'll post some numbers in the Facebook page over the weekend, and we can talk about it next week.
I can dig it. All right, moving on. So I think that's basically it for the news, unless you have more from the battle reporter this week.
I do, and I'm going to keep it brief because I don't want to. Because I can go on about this for forever if you let me. Battle Reporter, we have a listener of the TrollbloodScrum, who has volunteered his services to help with a front end and to actually move us out of the Google form into an actual proper web page with a SQL backend, and we're working towards getting a Android and ISO app going. So,
Well, what are we paying him?
We're not
paying him in sexual favors.
I didn't mean to. I was going to tell you after the call, Dallas. I gave him your phone number, and you should.
Oh crap! I'm not available, but I figured you being the new guy, you could handle that for us.
No. It's, I'm the negotiator. I'm the arranger.
Oh. All right.
So, but on that note, no, he volunteered, and we're working through some of the stuff. And he's done something for a couple other gaming systems that are really kind of cool. So it's his way of giving back to the community, as he feels that we're doing, and he likes what we do as well. So, so we should hopefully see something in the next couple weeks.
Awesome.
Maybe an early beta version, or we need some testers. So if you're interested in testing it, reach out to me through the existing tool, which is wmh.battlereporter.com. There's an option with an email address. Send it to me, and I'll start collecting people's names because I would like to see if we can get good 20 or 30 people using it once we're ready. But it's going to be really cool.
Pick me.
Oh, absolutely. And the coolest part is, and I won't go into too much detail, but he's added what's called ELO, which Matt knows what with that other things that use that, but it's basically a weighted average. So instead of if you see one caster that's only played 2 or 3 times, and you've got Madrak 2 that's played like 80, it can still rate them based on a weighted average, which is really kind of cool. So some really neat features and an ability to look at the reporting, and you can sort of drill down as far as you want it as well. So it's really cool stuff.
Proper statistical analysis and everything. Yeah. I gotta meet this guy.
Not to mention, there's going to be tournament features, so tournament organizers can put all their stuff in as well. So we've got some really awesome plans for this. So more on this as it goes on. But make sure you check out the website. It's still the old one now, but just keep track of it because we'll be flipping that over sooner than later. And if you have any questions or suggestions, just reach out to me through the Facebook page or through the email address on the page, and I can answer any questions there. So.
Well, and for those who are wondering what ELO is more specifically, if you've ever played games like League of Legends, Heroes of the Storm, Smite, Dota 2, that's basically the ranking system that they use to determine a player's competitive level, effectively, and that's how they pair people in games. And this is just a similar function of it,
but for the output instead of the
effectively. Yeah.
Yep, very cool.
Definitely cool. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. Now we've got a Warlock highlight for the week. What are you guys laughing about?
I was being a goofus.
I was just laughing at his giddiness. I've never heard him giddy over something before.
Jarl's one of my favorites. Don't admit that to anyone, but
in the immortal words of our oh God, my brain just took.
This just in, folks. Jarl isn't in the bottom 5%.
No, definitely not. But again, in the immortal words of Hacksaw, the guy who does all of our lovely scenario stuff, Jarl is pimp.
Yeah.
So We're gonna go ahead and talk about Jarl this week. Now we have a list focus, and we want to talk about basically what we all kind of think makes him tick. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and let Dallas start out since he hasn't talked a lot because he was late.
That's right on time. I'm here right after the introduction.
To the magic of editing.
Don't let him fool you. He was actually not here throughout most of this podcast. All right, Dallas, give us your Jarl list and let's pick it apart.
Do I need to break down Jarl at all? Do we care? No.
No, I think that everybody has the deck at this point.
So I keep trying really hard to fit the Glacier King in, and I'm not sure if he's the right choice. Oh, mama. I'm not sure if he's the right choice, but I like him with Jarl, so I'm bringing him. So my list is Jarl, the Glacier King, and then I thought about the Impaler for a long time because I want Farstrike on Jarl. I really do. But if you're gonna bring him just for Farstrike, why not add a little more beef to the pot and throw in a bomber instead?
100% in favor of this.
So, for a while, I tried to fit Long Riders and Horthel in, and I think that would be a lot of fun, but I want a buffer for my War Beasts, and so I'm also bringing the Mauler. Let me pop him in my list here. So I bring the Mauler instead of Long Riders. So that's Jarl, Glacier King, Bomber, and Mauler. That puts me at, let's see, and then I start bringing support. Let's see, I think I also brought the Runebearer. I got to put him in my list. I like the Runebearer with Jarl because he's got a lot of upkeeps. You're not going to use all of them, but he needs his discounted spell for, I mean, if not anything, for himself, so he can magic bullet twice. So I like the Runebearer with Jarl. It's a little pricey, but for what he does and what you're going to be doing, I think Runebearer is where it's at. So I like the Runebearer there. Then I went to Braylen Wanderheart. Now I don't know if a lot of you guys are playing Braylen, but I started playing Braylen a lot in Mark III because of the new backstrike rules. And one of the games I was playing with Jarl, I like your model previews. I should put my painted Braylen up. But with Quicken, Braylen is speed 8. She's got great defense for ranged, and since I don't have a lot of units that need Quicken, and it might be wasted on a solo, I really like the idea of Quicken on Braylen. However, if you want to play her as a wide-ranging flanking solo, it actually works pretty good. Or you can keep her tight with the Glacier King. Hold on.
Cameo appearance.
This is my 6-year-old Orson. Come here, say hi. Come here, say hi. Look.
Say hello to the internet.
Say hi, internet.
Hi, internet.
There you go.
Good job.
So, anyways, so I like to run her with Quicken on a flank. She does really well, especially when you look at some of the other stuff I'm bringing. Or, like I said, you can tighten her up in with the Glacier King, and then she has Prowl. And nothing really can hit her. There's a few things that can, but the problem with that is where I run my Glacier King, it makes it so she's kind of not in the fight. So me personally, that's kind of 2 ways you could run her. I also have a full unit of Sluggers in there, and Sluggers benefit really well from Jarl's spells, specifically Wield Secrets. Although Quicken works good on them too because they're a little slow. But I like Wield Secrets on them so they can get into position. They can ignore everything but forests when they're making the ranged attacks. So I like the Sluggers. Plus, this just in, Sluggers are awesome. And then I like to have another solo. I like Alten Ashley a lot, even if you're playing against War Machine. For right now, unless he gets nerfed in January, Alten Ashley does a lot for your army with his Rat 8 range 14 POW 12 gun that has grievous wounds. He has reposition. He has Prowl, so he can hang out by the Glacier King. Monster Hunter's really good now with the D3+3. So I like Alten Ashley a lot in the list. And that brings me to 66 points. And so I've been having a lot of trouble with my last 9 points or so. And I haven't quite decided what to put into it yet. And so I wanted to get some feedback from you two. But again, I like the Runebearer, the Glacier King, the Bomber, the Mauler, Braylen, Alten, and Sluggers. And I just don't think I want a speed bump, and I've got War Room up right here. I thought about bringing the Dunian Knot, so they could sit behind the Glacier King and kind of heal him up. Maybe some whelps, and with the knot and some whelps, that's 10. So I can't bring both of them.
So what do you think instead about the knot and or even whelps and a Gremlin Swarm?
Okay, so that was where I was going next. If I bring the knot, then if I go into, is a Gremlin Swarm a solo? Yeah, it's a solo. Then I can bring a Gremlin Swarm, and then that gives me the utility where Alten's kind of geared towards hordes. The Gremlin Swarm's geared towards War Machine.
Well, and it's not just that. Like, think about the way that the Gremlin Swarm works for your army. First, it's stealth and incorporeal.
They have stealth and incorporeal. They can hold a zone. They're cheap. They have annoyance, which is the same as the whelps. They don't attack like whelps don't attack, but mischief is so fun.
It's one of those things that's they're incorporeal. Like, you could put Quicken on them and just run them the fuck past your opponent's army.
Yeah, they
Put
can't
them
really.
right next to a warjack.
Or they have to devote something with a magic attack at them, and a lot of things.
Their Warcaster, so they have to bring their Warcaster forward to deal with this fucking Gremlin Swarm. It's actually pretty high defense too, so they actually have to devote resources to killing it. That in itself is brilliant. Or if they don't have any way of dealing with it, they can never score on.
Yeah, they're never going to score.
We talked about this the same way with Flanzer.
Yeah.
It's so good a points investment. It's like Feralgeist plus. Like, it's just so much better.
So I like the knot, and I like the knot for a couple reasons. Puppet Master is going to really help you with your ranged attacks, both with the Glacier King and the Bomber, which helps you
with Jarl.
Yeah, and with Jarl.
You just dial Magic Bullet up to fucking 11 with
you
rollable Magic Bullets. My God.
Yeah. So Puppet Master helps a lot, and being able to heal the Glacier King while they try and plink away is nice. So with the play style, what you're doing is the Glacier King. It's hard because it's not going to take and hold a scenario when you build it like this. The Glacier King can to some degree, but what you have in this army is a lot of precision ranged attacks and a lot of ability to take out their support and their key models very quickly. And then
but you play really
you've got the Mauler. Yeah, the Mauler, the Bomber, and the Glacier King with Rage can go in there and get the job done.
Not only that, but the Glacier King gives you really good way to dictate the board.
Oh yeah.
So you will heavies will never charge a Glacier King like that.
Frozen Ground is awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, and heavies will never charge the Glacier King unless they've got some sort of ridiculous threat, which is not really common these days. So
yeah.
So I went in a very similar, sort of a similar way actually.
Well, if I can cut you off, my other list was you drop the Sluggers and the Gremlin Swarm and the Knot, and you add a full unit of Long Riders and maybe Horthel.
Seems good.
And I like Quicken on Long Riders.
Yeah, Quicken on Long Riders would be brutal.
All of a sudden, they're speed 9.
Slamming it.
Deficiencies overcome.
Pretty good.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
So my list is about 6 points short, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But it's Jaaaarl, Runebearer, Bomber, and Dozer and Smig.
Oh, Dozer and Smig.
Dozer and Smig, yeah. All right, so I've also went in the same direction with Braylen, Wanderheart, Folkcaller Hero, Chronicler, Kithkar. I actually brought the stone with this one. I like the stone. Then I've got Sons of Brag, so you have a fucking cruise missile in your army.
You brought Sons of Brag on purpose?
Oh, yes. Dude, think about how much damage output that is, and you've got Quicken on them? Holy shit.
Yeah, okay, I go then.
It's like, I've got a 12-inch cruise missile. Enjoy that heavy dying. And then you've also got the Assault Spray. Ridiculous. And then Fen Blades for flavor. I'm sitting at 6 points shy, and it's tough. Like, I can do 2 3-point options and get sort of one productive model and one unproductive model. Or I can play 1 point shy and put in a 4-point model as another solo. And I'm not certain which way to go.
See, both of you have missed.
What about the Scouts? Have you thought about the Eferret Scouts?
The Freight had been a consideration, but it doesn't fit the feel of the list. Like, the list is meant to come out of fucking nowhere and hit you behind your lines, and then everything's going to be engaged because it's a big footprint, and then basically using Quicken to throw things at you to deal with what you throw at me.
I'm just saying, we've got 5 at free position, marksman and armor piercing, and they're cavalry with Pathfinder.
I'm not saying they're bad, and I do like them. But...
That's a choice. That's something you could think about there.
So instead, then, what do we look at? We look
You
at...
could go Gremlin Swarm and Lanyssa Ryssyl.
I have both. I don't think I need Lanyssa Ryssyl. I honestly don't. Everything I have has longer threat than Lanyssa Ryssyl can help you with.
Yeah,
so I'd be using her for Winter Storm or for her Frostbolt. And I don't think points.
Could bring a knot for 6 points.
I think that the knot... Only now I'm like, damn, I should own that model. Oh shit, it's $45.
Yeah. Let's see. What else do we got for 6 points? I'm trying to think here. We don't have 6 point solos, do we?
Well, the one thing that you need, I don't think either of you have mentioned is the Pummeler crew. With Weld Secrets, you get that extra. You be able to ignore concealment and cover. 6 points.
When does the Pummeler crew come out, though?
It's December.
Okay, so we're not very far away from
range 16, you just plop it in a forest somewhere, and to be able to shoot out of a forest, it's when you get that cover, and be able to sit there somewhere and just keep pounding away at stuff with the POW 14 AoE 3, and then that additional POW 10 blast that flips off from that one.
Man,
so
I can't decide if I need 2 of them, because it feels like I need 2 of them.
You'll never spend 12 points though to bring 2 of them.
Why wouldn't you? Like, I mean...
Because you could bring Fire Eaters instead.
Yeah. But like, okay, think about the way that Dozer and Smig affects the game, right?
Oh, that's true.
Dozer and Smig do a thing that we have not had a lot of in the faction, where your opponent always has to worry about, oh, shit, that's...
Actually, Dozer and Smig helped the Pummeler crew quite a bit.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh god, and Dozer and Smig is already so good, and people have to think about what that model does, because Dozer and Smig doesn't have to be anywhere near where the line
We're
is.
talking about Lucky Shot, for those of you that don't know it right off the top of your head. Lucky Shot on the Pummeler crew would be great. +2 the AoE ranged attack roll, and you can reroll deviation and distance.
You could put Animuses onto units.
Lucky Shot is a cost 1 range 6 spell.
Oh, okay, good.
It's one of the few Animus we have left in the game that we can actually buff warrior models with.
And it's so good. And Dozer and Smig's gun is so good already.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, think about the way that Dozer and Smig act right now. You have 2 platforms for less points that do almost the same thing and then get buffed by things that you already have. Pummeler crews are ridiculous. Now,
so what you're saying is you're looking at the knot, maybe short term, long run. You could probably replace them with the Pummeler crew. Then
I think that's right with this list. I feel like
with that list in particular,
I feel like I've already got what I need to reach beyond the lines. Like, I've got Dozer and Smig, and I've got Magic Bullet and Snipes, so I can kill the things that I want to with precision, and then I use the rest of the army to jam.
I'm glad you went with the Bomber instead of the Impaler. It makes me happy. Great minds think alike, right?
Yeah, indeed. Well, and where we are sort of landed on the same page, more importantly, though, is Braylen. Braylen with Jarl is ridiculous.
Oh,
no other range dude. Braylen is a threat that your opponent can't just be like, it'll be fine.
They got to deal with her. I have very few games where I haven't gotten more than double my points back with her.
Yeah, she's kind of silly.
The last game I played her, she got a backstrike in on Torch and almost wrecked him.
That is super.
Almost. I mean, I had to take a few shots at it with the sluggers too, but but Braylen with a 5-point model taking down Torch, that was glorious.
Well, I feel like Jarl really just dials up our ability to control the board. Like, now I think she almost does it better, or he almost does it better than Gristle did, or does. currently. Yeah,
Well,
probably does
I
it
don't
better
know.
than Ryssyl.
I don't know. They're both pretty good at it. Well, his feet's stronger now, I guess.
Yeah, his feet's stronger.
So his playstyle with him though, you run up and you're gonna feed early, probably. You might feed later if you're doing it for depending on how up into your lines they are, because you might want to minus their defense.
And what kind of troops they're using. So like if they have a good line of jam, you can crank your Fenblades basically up to a 14 because it gives them -2 attack. So you can
If you're bringing Fenblade.
That's what I'm paying. That's what I'm doing.
I'm bringing Sluggers.
Grim 2.
But it still helps.
So there's a little bit of nuance there, and I feel like Jarl really like drives their positioning. I think there should be honorable mention for a War Wagon here.
I was just gonna say the same thing. I
might be willing
really want a War Wagon, but I haven't.
I might be willing to swap out a solo, 2 solos, and try and get that War Wagon in there.
How much is the War Wagon again? 18?
18.
I could drop my Sluggers in the knot. Fit in a War Wagon. I could drop my Sluggers in yeah, it'd have to be the knot. Or Alten.
Nah, keep Alten. Sluggers in a knot. That's actually pretty good. Because you have knockdown, you have good.
But then I don't have any units in this army if I do that.
That is amazing.
Okay, hold on. We gotta see how this looks. I'm dropping. What am I dropping? The knot.
Your opponent's like, what am I supposed to do?
And then a Gobber chef. Because I have 1 point left.
Fill that
and you
point.
can't play short points.
Indeed.
You can't play short points, even if the Gobber chef doesn't help this list very much. Okay, so that's Jarl, Runebearer, Glacier King, Bomber, Mauler, War Wagon, Braylen, Alten, Gremlin Swarm, Swamp Gobber chef.
I love the fact that you will embrace dropping 2 huge bases on the board.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
That is lots of fun.
I'm not even kidding. Like I'm seriously taking a 2 huge base army to my I5 tournament. So
I took that's my Gunbjorn. It had a War Wagon and the Glacier King in it, and that was so much fun at the team tournament we did back in August.
War Wagon and Mountain King with this list.
Ah,
yeah. Mountain King starts to get kind of crazy stupid once he gets to armor 23.
indeed.
So
All right,
wait, you're saying 3
Fraser,
large bases?
The hour is getting nigh. Do you have some insight to weigh in on this this Jarl list here, just as we wrap up?
So I have my list, and this is all theory craft because I've never played them before. But I discovered why I like this list so much because it's a lot like my Berka list. So it's Jarl with a Bomber, a Mauler, and a Pyre Troll. Feralgeist and Lanyssa Ryssyl, Fell Caller, the Pummeler crew because I really like this model. The Stone with the UA, 2 units of Fire Eaters, and the Fenblades with the UA, which again it's about 60-70% my Berka list. But the thing I was thinking about is if this would be a good drop into gun lines, because with the Quicken on the Fenblades and on feet turn, the Fenblades are going to be def 16. So it's giving them the concealment as well as the cloud. So figure that's going to be pretty good. And again, putting the Weld Secret on the Pulmonar crew and just have it just being able to ignore cover and concealment throughout the game as well, and basically get in there and just beat face. And again, your comment about keeping the feet until you're actually into melee is a good idea. I didn't think about that piece. I was thinking of just as a delivery system against gun lines. But yeah, once you get into melee, that's even better. Getting them to reduce their attacks by 2 as well.
Okay. Jarl, Glacier King, Mountain King, War Wagon, Braylen, Alten, Skinner, and Swamp Gobber Bellows crew. You know what? Screw that. We can fit 2 War Wagons, can't we?
Didn't you already say 2 War Wagons?
I think he stuttered War Wagons.
I stuttered. Hey, hold on. I know we're almost done and we're out of time. Leave me alone. So, War Wagon, Battle Engine.
While he's still.
Oh, we don't have enough points.
While he's still being
2
cracked.
points over with 2 War Wagons. That makes sense.
I do like your list. Give me some of the reasoning behind your Battlegroup choice.
Yeah, I want to hear the
Well, one, the bomber, so I can get Far Strike, and I like the bombs. I can put you can cast Magic Bullet twice, right? So put Magic Bullet on the bomber and on Jarl himself, so you get some effort that way. And I need to have some meat. I need to get the Mauler in there just so he can come in and take out some key pieces. Having talked to a few people aside about the Bearca list and just how much work a Mauler can get done, he almost has to be in a lot of these lists. And I want to be able to threat any jacks or any real big heavies that get thrown at me. So I just want I'm building more all comers lists, because I want to be able to have that ability to drop it into a lot of different things and not custom to only one type of list. And I think this sort of works both. It works against shooty lists as well as it works against bricks and other beasts, because with the Fen Blades coming up, hitting that first wave, the Fire Eaters lighting things up that it needs to, any solos that are advanced deploy, and then just getting the beast to clean up whatever the Fen Blades don't either delay enough or can remove on their mini feet.
Nice. Okay, so the challenge is, can we play these lists and report back? Is that possible? Do we have time?
I'm playing a game tomorrow. I was going to play Bearca, but I may be able to do Jarl. The only thing is I have to proxy the Pummeler.
I can play mine on Saturday.
I have 2 lists that I need polish
Yeah,
on.
you got to practice for your tournament. I'm going to try. I got 2 games Saturday. I can try your list and my list.
Oh, there you go. Get all 3 of them covered off.
Shut up, Matt. Don't look at me that
Sorry. I'm already in my brain trying to figure out how I'm going to practice enough to be polished enough to play at this tournament. Like,
play it Columbo style. Columbo, throw your opponents off by appearing to not know what you're doing.
I'm good at that.
No,
Why did he literally run his entire army forward and leave his warlock with no fury? Clearly, he wants to lose this game.
Columbo style. I like it.
That's my turn 1 every game I play.
Pull up the stone, leave your warlock on 0. That has been me in the ass once. I thought I was fine, and then my opponent rolled double 6s on a druid to knock me down and pull me through.
Oh, jeez.
Fucking forest. I'm like, defense 16. He's magic 7. He needs 9s to even pull me. Boom, boxcars. Opponent proceeded to roll 4 more boxcars after the fact.
Adding insult to injury.
Quite
literally.
Indeed. Well, I lost that game pretty hard.
Here's what it is.
It is.
Your opponent didn't beat you. Your defense failed you.
This is true. No, his dice won him that game. Very seriously. All right, gentlemen, we've been prattling on along a little too long now, so I'm going to go ahead and end this episode. Fraser, thank you for your participation as usual, all the extra information about the Battle Reporter and the WTC event. Dallas, thank you for being late. And this has been the TrollbloodScrum signing off.